Yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our international manners class. Today, I recorded our material because I have FGDs with other lecturers today in the faculty, so I couldn't meet you online. That's why I recorded today's material. And today's topic is about stereotyping. Stereotyping, we live with the stereotyping. Sometimes we are the ones who do the stereotyping, and stereotyping is exists in every culture, including in our own culture. So actually, a stereotype is a sort of generalization of people group based on past experiences, which are deep rooted in the cultures of the people. So in another definition, we can say that it is a fixed idea or image that many people have for a particular person or a group of people. So there is also a terminology of cultural stereotyping. So that means we tend to apply we have a tendency to apply both evidence and our existing beliefs about the members of that group of people. So we can say that stereotyping is called idiosyncratic because if only an individual uses them, or they are social or collective, if they are widely shared by a group of people in a community. Okay, in everyday use, the concept of the stereotyping is based and used in various contexts. Yeah, and usually the word stereotyping is used to uh, refer to members of one particular culture or one particular community. For example, when we talk about policemen in Indonesia, we have sort of stereotyping about them. Or when we talk about Balinese people in Indonesia, somehow we have stereotyping about them. When we talk about Acehnese in Indonesia, we have our own stereotyping about them. So, that stereotyping is correct practical culture? We cannot say so. We cannot say so because stereotyping is only based on the experience that might happen in the past and not necessarily depicting the whole community or the whole group. So we can say that stereotyping is an early judgment toward a person or toward a group of people. The term stereotyping itself was first used by Walter Lippmann in 1922, um, and now is used to mean a readily available image of a given social group, usually based on rough and often negative generalization. So you have to underline, yeah, it is often described as negative generalization. Okay. Um, Although stereotyping can be positive, yeah, as well negative, when they are used in everyday usage, most often understood as irrationally based negative attitudes about a certain social groups and their members. So when we do stereotyping, we always think only the half side or only a partial side or partial image of one community or one culture. Having said that, when we do stereotyping, we don't have the rights to generalize all the people in that community or a person in that community. Why we do have to discuss about stereotyping, because this is also related into international customs, manners, values, and intercultural communication. Yeah, you have to underline those things. One thing that we have to embrace is our ability to do the intercultural communication. Yeah, because it is very vital, it is very important. um, when we live in a society which consists of many cultures and very diverse, you have to be able to have this kind of ability to be able to do the intercultural communication. If you do not have this kind of ability to do the intercultural communication, you cannot live in a given society, in a given nation. You will have problems, you will have challenges to be part of the diverse community like in Indonesia. Okay, so if you are now thinking about stereotyping, it is actually innate in our self, in every human's mind, but stereotyping can be erased. Yeah, stereotyping can be erased through some conferences, through some meetings, through some discussion, through some um, occasions that make people in that situation feel accepted, even though they come from different group of cultural members. Okay, um, there are so many stereotyping that cause problems. There are so many stereotyping cases that cause problem, and when we talk about stereotyping, usually stereotyping includes what we call as the history or a past experience of unpleasant situation. Yeah, when I ask you what is your stereotyping about the Papuan people, or about the Papuan, or what is your stereotyping about the Batakness, or what is your stereotyping about the Javanese? So maybe there are many things come in your mind right now, and you want to say something about uh, uh, generalizing certain behaviors that come from that ethnic groups, and that's normal. That is normal if we have stereotyping in our mind. Yeah, so now I'm going to tell you types of stereotyping. First is nationality stereotypes. Yeah, so nationality stereotypes is short of generalization about cultures or nationalities that can be a source of pride, anger, or simply bad jokes. Yeah, some people say that in all stereotype there is some basis in reality, as they don't develop uh, in vacuum. What does it mean? That when certain countries, when, for example, when we stereotyping, let's say Korean right now, we might say that, oh, Korean is a very proud country because most of the time they made problems, they made blunders, they made statement that insult other countries. For example, what happened in the Olympics when one of the TV station in Korea um, tried to showcase every nation with things or images that cause people that which is depicted in that occasion angry, because they only showed the bad part of the nation. For example, when Indonesia is being shown in the Olympic in that TV station, we were depicted as troubled country which has a very high numbers of COVID-19. And why didn't they just try to, you know, to make a good image, like Indonesia has 17,000 islands and it has a very grandeur structure called Borobudur Temple, things like that. Why did they choose to uh, represent us with not a very pleasant image, right? So that's the problem. So Right now, most of Indonesian stereotyping Korean as a very proud nation, which is very conceited. Yes. So is it? Can we do that? You cannot. You cannot. Yeah, you cannot avoid your mind to think about it, but you can control it. You can say to yourself that not every Korean think about that way when they think about Indonesia. Not every Korean will say bad things about Indonesian. In fact, there are so many Korean YouTubers right now who are trying to promote Indonesian cultures, Indonesian language, and Indonesian people. So, how can we say that the whole country is only depicted through one image of COVID-19? Meanwhile, there are so many things about that country, right? The representation about the country. So that's one of the examples of nationality stereotyping. Okay. For example, when we are stereotyping American, we can say that American is arrogant. We can say that they are open-minded. That is a positive stereotyping. We can say that they are materialistic. How can we say that American is materialistic? Because they are the source of free trade, for example, or because they are the source of capitalism. Well, capitalism is in every country right now in the world. It is not belongs to any nation, but it belongs to every. Sorry, it doesn't belong to specific country. That word of capitalism, but it belongs to every nation who is having this kind of economic system. Yeah, capitalism is an economic system which is used by many countries right now in the world, including Indonesia. And maybe we can say that American is egoistic. Nah. And then when we talk about Arabs, yeah, Arabs, what do you think the stereotyping of Arabian? Anyone, please? Maybe we can say that Arabs, most of them are very rich. Yeah. When you think about Arabs, you think about Dubai, which has the highest structures in the world. But sometimes we can also think about Arabs are womanizers and anxious, impulsive, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's the stereotyping of Arabs. Yeah, this is how I explain, not I stereotype them. So most of the time, people when they think Arabs, their stereotyping are those things that I have mentioned earlier. What about Australians? Australians, what are the stereotypings of Australian? We can say that Australians may be open-minded, free-spirited, but they are troublemakers when they come to Bali, right? We can say that they are uncultured. We can say that they are drink all night, yeah? They got drunk easily, and so on and so forth. Uh, that's our one of the examples. What are our stereotyping about Chinese? Yeah, Chinese. Maybe we can say that they are stingy. They are fast learners. They are noisy speakers. Yeah, they are arrogant. They are maybe materialistic in some way, or they are do kung fu, yeah, and many other things. What about French? Friends, what are our stereotyping toward French? Maybe romantics, or good lovers, or have the best cuisines in the world, or they don't want to speak English because they have their own pride to speak their own language, and they have problems with the British. And we can say that they are the negative stereotyping is rude to tourists, yeah, or we can say that they are anti-American, and so on and so forth. The list goes on. Okay, so that's what we call as nationality stereotyping. But what about when people from other countries stereotyping Indonesians? Maybe they would think that Indonesians are warm and friendly people. That's the, you know, good stereotyping, but they would also think that Indonesians are lazy. That's the negative stereotyping, and corrupt, superstitious, slow, inferior, and I think the list goes on. Yeah. Okay. Um, that's what we call as the national stereotyping, nationality stereotyping. And next is racial stereotyping. So this racial stereotyping, most of the time, comes from Asian countries. Yeah. Um, let's say Asian are stereotyped to be very good at math. Yeah, particularly Chinese, and the blacks in America, sorry, in Africa and in part of South America, they are good in doing athletic or dancing, for example. So this can be the positive stereotypings. Um, One stereotyping which is not true, that right now media always, you know, tries to showcase to the world, is Muslims are terrorists. This is one thing that can jeopardize everything. When you say that Muslims are terrorists, it's gonna be the source of the problems, because not because Muslims are not being represented by this heinous actions, this horrible action that caused many people died. And Muslims are a very peace-loving religion, and it has, you know, very good teachings, values, and so on and so forth. But the media, especially the Western media, are trying to showcase that Muslims, you know, tend to do this kind of thing, the jihad and so on and so forth. So the stereotyping is being established. And next we have political stereotyping. Yeah, political stereotyping. What does it mean by political stereotyping? Political stereotyping means, um, for example, Democrats tend to be more open-minded than Republicans, yeah, in the United States of America. Republicans tend to hold very conservative values, compared with the Democrats. Yeah, that's one of the examples of the political stereotyping. And then gender stereotyping. So gender stereotyping. So gender stereotyping can be found in everyday's life when we think that women are weak and men are powerful, men is superior compared to women. And for example, women are good at performing household chores and taking care of their appearances. Men are strong and adventurous and brave. In fact, these things cannot be associated with genders. You know, right now, most of the best chefs in the world are men. They are very good, you know, in cooking something. I love cooking. That doesn't mean that I'm a woman. And I love, you know, taking care of my own room, my own house. Um, does it make me as a woman? No, right? So that's what we call as a gender stereotyping. Um, and yeah, that's types of stereotypings. I think that's all for today for stereotyping. And then your job and your quiz or your assignment is to make one essay about stereotyping of another culture in Indonesia. For example, you are Javanese. You have to explain that you are Javanese and how you view other races or other ethnicities in Indonesia. For example, you want to stereotype the Batakness. So how do you view Batakness? Yeah. Or for example, you are Batakness, you want to stereotype, yeah, the Japanese, or let's say Malayan or Chinese or Indian in Medan. So that's the assignments. Okay, I hope you can do your assignments, and I'm sorry if we cannot meet online today. I have to record this just because I have FGD with other lecturers in Harapan in our faculty, and I hope you can do your assignments and prepare it uh, better. Okay, that's all for today, my dear students. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for watching this, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.